One, MetLife Stadium Drive, one of the two NFL stadiums shared by two teams. But we're not here to talk about that or that team across the hall. Keith Ippolito and John Rad are only here to talk about the true football giants. We talk Giants football and wherever else the conversation may take us. So deal with it. This is the Shared Stadium Podcast.
Who's number one? It's time to revisit history. And Brian Daboll, much like everybody else, I'm calling you out. We're going to talk about all that and more here on the Shared Stadium Podcast. I'm John Rad, along with Keith Ippolito. We will talk all things Giants and, frankly, anything else that we want to talk about. Keith, what's happening, brother?
Doing good, man. No, we've had a little, 2-week hiatus, between 4th of July holiday, and I went to the U.S. Copa America game the previous week, which they ended up losing, but it was, still, yeah, probably, I guess maybe I should just not go to the game anymore, I guess,
I kind of blame you for that one. As soon as you told me, you're like, oh, I'm going. I'm like, oh, cool. If we lose, It's your fault.
Oh, 100%. Now I'm never allowed to go to a game ever again.
Yes.
Hey,
so
at least I got to knock it off the bucket list. I've always wanted to do a Copa America game, so I can notch that off the list.
No, that is a very cool thing. I'm not the biggest soccer fan, but I will keep up when we get to the bigger games. Obviously, with the time we're recording this, we are a week away from the Olympics. Not even a week away. Opening ceremonies are next week.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll have more soccer there. So we got a lot going on. But right now we're going to focus on a little Giants football, because the New York Giants, as they're the focus of HBO's Hard Knocks, it's time we do some revisionist history, because I think everybody wondered how it went. And the end result, I think, is 50-50 split. What I'm talking about, we finally got the conversation on how everything played out with Saquon Barkley, former running back, now with the Eagles. And frankly, I think it's a solid 50-50 split. I think there are people who were, and I think it was said, I think the GM said it best, I'm not going to pay, and here's where I say the mistake came in. I'm not paying someone $40 million to hand the ball off to a running back at 17 or 20 million, whatever the number was going to be. I think he's 100% right with that. But I think the mistake that they made is you paid Daniel Jones $40 million, and he's not a $40 million quarterback.
No. I think we can all agree with. We both agree on that. But unfortunately, it is what it is with the quarterback market. Obviously, I've read some articles. I'm sure you've seen them too, where they're talking about basically putting almost like a cap limit on the quarterback position, or trying to reset the market, because it is getting out of control. But I mean, honestly, seeing those clips, the dialogue, I did enjoy that. The other stuff, it is what it is. I mean, it was interesting. I mean, it honestly, not that I ever doubted Joe Schoen or Brian Daboll, because I feel like, they've done a pretty solid job since they've been with the team. But
so far, so good.
Hear that, but when I hear them basically, explain it out, and everything that us fans are seeing, and I know obviously there's a portion of the fan base that wanted him back. Me and you both wanted him back, but you can't pay him that type of money for that position. So it's nice. It's nice to see your GM in that dialogue or whatever. I mean, one thing I did find interesting was with the conversation between him and Saquon. I found that not comical, but just interesting. It was almost like Saquon basically knew the writing was on the wall, and but I felt like Shane handled it in the right way, because I mean, he basically they both knew, each party knew where they standed on the deal or whatever, and Shane was like, hey, go shop yourself, go see what you can get, and Saquon did that. Just turns out he went to the team down I-95.
Did they need, I mean, I'm not going to comment on the Eagles. I mean, we'll see, but you're right. Go shop it. And I think that's what a lot of teams do. Go see what your value is. And I think the hope was you'll realize you're asking for too much. And I think what people don't realize is the way that I guess I have to comment on the Eagles. The way the Eagles offense is set up, where he's not the feature of it. Their feature is Jalen Hurts and those wide receivers.
Of
and
course.
now you have him as that extra option. I think that's a key component of it. Whereas with the New York Giants, he is going to be the feature because we still don't know what Daniel Jones is. Now, one of the takeaways that I love from Hard Knocks that I saw when I don't remember what episode it was on. This is the year for Daniel Jones. I totally agree. Daniel Jones, this is a make or break year. I get the contract that he was given, but it's a make or break year at this point in time. If you look at what the Giants has done, they said it, revamped the offensive line, got him some wide receiver weapons. Do we have a stud running back in Devin Singletary? We have a running back, but we're expecting it. All of it's on Daniel Jones. In my opinion, and if you've been a long time listener to this podcast, thank you. Like, subscribe, follow, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. I think we're going to look up, and maybe 2, maybe 3 years, Daniel Jones is going to be a backup quarterback somewhere. And we're going to end up doing something almost like what the Atlanta Falcons did. We're here in Atlanta. We're going to do almost like what the Atlanta Falcons did. We're going to end up going and looking for a quarterback that isn't great, but isn't bad. And what I mean by that is it would be someone like for lack of a better term, I'm just using him as my example, Tua Tagovailoa.
Oh, yeah.
Who we still don't know what he is. We know he's good, but he's not that marquee quarterback.
He's had flashes in the pan, but I wouldn't say it's been consistent.
Yes, and I think that's what we're going to end up looking at. So right now, I totally agree. It's make or break year for Daniel Jones. But Saquon, we'll miss you. Thank you for all you did. Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
I think you were great. I think he was a wonderful Giant. He was great to have there. He was banged up all the time, but when we had him, it was great.
Yeah. On Saquon. All right. So I lost my train of thought there for a second. Sorry, John. Giants
drinking over there. This is
Hey, truly. Do you want to sponsor the Shared Stadium podcast?
I mean, we are 7 minutes in, and you lost your train of thought. Oh boy.
No, what I wanted to mention is still on Saquon, but the Giants released their top 100, or the first 10 of their top 100 players. Saquon is on number 95 on that list. Some people on social media were saying that, the fact that he went to Philadelphia, would he have been higher on the list, say in the 80s or the 70s? I'm not so sure about that. I mean, I think Saquon is a phenomenally talented player, but 80. I guess maybe if he was still there, yes, I could. But I mean, I don't even know. I don't need top 100 of all time. I mean, I guess you could put him in there, but I kind of look at Saquon's tenure with the Giants as this is like, all right, you were great. I enjoyed watching you play, but an all-time great? I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel like when I think of all-time greats, I'm especially like running backs. Even though he didn't win a Super Bowl with us, like Tiki Barber and guys like that or whatever. I don't know. What's your thought on that?
I think he's exactly where he needs to be. Don't forget how good Saquon Barkley's rookie year was. There were 2 or 3 years, maybe 2, where he had over 1,000 yards rushing. So I think it's a little bit absurd. Oh, he went to the Eagles. So that means you put him higher if he goes to the Dolphins. You put him higher if he goes to the Saints. What he did can't be understated. He was in my opinion, he was the pick that we needed. He just couldn't stay healthy. I think Saquon Barkley did everything we could have asked of him and more.
Oh yeah.
Just didn't stay healthy. If he would have stayed healthy, he'd still be there, and he would be at this position right now. But he'd be able to move himself up. You're not there anymore, and I'm
Yeah.
sorry. It's not once a giant, always a giant. You weren't there long enough to get that anecdote put behind you yet. But yeah, I think he's spot on
Well,
where he was.
and also, and I think if he was on maybe some winning teams, basically, if I think about it, he was only on. Was it? I know there was one playoff. Was he on? Was it two playoff seasons? He was with. I know he had. Yeah, it must have been two playoff because he had Ben McAdoo and the other guy can't remember. Anyways, I guess maybe yeah, I guess at least for me, I would mentally I would say had he maybe had some deep not won a Super Bowl, but maybe had some deeper playoff runs, maybe I would. For me personally, I would throw him up higher on the list, but it's not like he won a lot here. I mean, but I can't knock him for that because he was on some pretty terrible teams as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much you can ask of the guy. And I'm sitting here looking at the list right now, and as they go from 100 to 81, there's some interesting names on this list, but there's only so much you can ask from the guy in such the short amount of time that he was there. I mean, you think about it, really and truly, out of what 4 or 5 years, we've really only got about 2.5, because
Yeah,
Saquon
if
was
you
hurt
really,
a lot of
yeah,
it. So,
yeah. Honestly, if you think about it,
but I mean, some of the names on this list, obviously, Saquon, we mentioned 95, Hakeem Nicks, 97, pick that still didn't live up to what he could have been. Uh,
yeah, yeah.
Lawrence
Well,
Tynes,
yeah. I mean,
91.
yeah. I like Lawrence Tynes. I mean, I think he belonged, even though he was a kicker basically. I mean, I don't have a problem with that.
One name that I think you should put some respect on his name, Jason Sehorn at 89 is, and here's why I say
Yes.
that. Let me give you the comparison. You put Jason Sehorn at 89, but you have Kerry Collins at 83.
Yeah.
Jason Sehorn did more for the Giants than Kerry Collins did. I'm sorry. I
I,
know there are
I,
people out there, oh, you're crazy. He did more
yeah,
for the
yeah,
Giants.
yeah. Yeah, no, Jason Sehorn. Yeah. Honestly, if I'm being honest, I do think I would maybe flip flop those or whatever. I mean,
Yep.
that was those especially those were some fun teams to watch. And I'm looking at the other because they released 10 more actually an hour or two before we actually just sign on here. Let's see, we got Ahmad Bradshaw, which I
At eight,
loved him.
eight,
I know 84, and
but still behind Kerry Collins.
eh,
That's why,
yeah,
that's
still,
where
yeah,
this is going bad.
yeah, exactly. And even I actually I've been meaning to buy this shirt that I keep popping up on my Instagram. Dave freaking Maggette, he's at 85.
I mean, like, this list is obviously it's always going to be 100% subjective. Your top 10, if it, and I'm going to say this fresh, at bare minimum, in your top 20, obviously you'll probably end up with Lawrence Taylor there. You'll end up with
Oh yeah.
JPP, OC
Well, I
Umenyiora,
mean, let's be
Michael
honest. I mean, Lawrence
Strahan.
Taylor has got to be number one. Come on.
Can I be honest? The only reason
Uh,
I don't think they'll put
okay.
him at number one is because of his past. I think Eli's going to be number one.
Okay. You think
I
so?
hate,
Yeah.
I hate to say it.
Okay.
I agree. LT's the reason I love the Giants. I love football, but
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll turn out to be Eli will be number one because of LT's past, and they're just going to, hey, he's on the list and he's one of the greats, but we're going to give it to Eli because
Just because.
yeah, just
Yeah,
because.
yeah, yeah.
I
But I
mean,
mean, honestly, I'm not condoning anything he did in his personal life, but just strictly talking football wise, that man is
by far
the
and away one of the
reason. Oh, dude,
greatest
he is.
linebackers ever.
Oh my God, it's incredible. And even back in our back in our 680 days, one of my favorite stories when Bobby Hebert was on with Nick and Chris. He was telling a story about when the Saints were playing against the Giants, and I can't remember the offensive lineman, but Bobby Hebert basically said he was lined up against LT, and the guy freaking pissed in his pants because he must have taken a bump or whatever before the game, and he was like, yeah, I think I might pee my pants right here. I'm up against freaking Lawrence Taylor.
Look, Lawrence Taylor was if you remember the old movie The Program, and there was the linebacker. I think his name was like Sheldon Mack, and he walked up to the line,
Yeah,
and he was talking trash in the movie. He was, "Hey, you're the one who raped my baby sister." That was Lawrence Taylor in real life. This was a movie depiction of him. That was Lawrence Taylor creeping up to the line in real life. And I think that the reality of, what do I do with this guy? He's standing up. He's 6'6". He's fast as lightning, and he's going to come off that edge. And at that point in time, offensive linemen didn't know what to do with him, and he was strong as an ox. So, I think we're going to see that.
Just like God-given, I mean, obviously worked out and trained, but I mean, the man was just like it's a generational talent, obviously, but he was a freak of nature.
I think what we're going to discover, the top 20 is going to be very defensive heavy. Because you think of those Super Bowl wins that we saw in the early 2000s, it was because of the defense. I mean, do I think...
Oh, God, yeah.
So I think we're going to see a lot of defense make it on that list. Obviously, Tiki Barber, he'll be on that list.
Of course.
Maybe. Because he had some bad words about the Giants.
He does. He obviously retired the year before they won the Super Bowl, and we all know the hit. I think he was a little sour grapes for a little while. But I mean, he is a Giant, and he was honestly, if I have to be honest, I don't know about you. At least in my lifetime, I don't want to discredit any of some of the older generations of running backs in the Giants, but if I have to be honest, he's probably not probably, in my opinion, he was the greatest running back in the franchise for the Giants, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd go with that. I won't argue that statement. I mean, I think it's I can go with that. I'm comfortable with that. I mean, I'd have to do a little bit more history digging on it. But another part from Hard Knocks that came out, and I'm gonna take a shot at our head coach, Brian Daboll, as they are at the combine. He's sitting there in the stands, and he's watching the wide receivers run. And he says he can run the 40 in under 7 seconds.
Oh, I don't know about that, man. I know he lost a lot of weight.
I'll give you under 10.
Oh, yeah, I think, under 10.
I don't think you're running a sub 7.
No,
I don't think
you're
running a sub 8. I think you're running closer to a 8.59.
Oh, God, yeah.
Like, he's a bowling ball.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to, diminish him. I mean, he looks like he's obviously lost a lot of weight, but even when he was heavy set, I mean, he looked like he was just like a typical defense or offensive lineman, but I mean, I don't think he's running a 40 and 7. I mean, I would love to see it, but I don't think it's happening. I'd give him 10 like you said, but 7?
49 years old. He did lose a good bit of weight. You need to slow down on those truly there, fella. You're starting to forget words. You're hammering them back over there pretty quickly every time I look up, too. Goodness gracious.
Hey, come on.
It's Thursday, bro.
It's Thirsty Thursday, John. Come on.
I don't think that means what you think it means.
Maybe it doesn't, but I'll make it up to myself,
But he's 49 years old. He's built like a bowling ball. Yeah, I'll give you a sub. I'll even be generous. I'll give you sub 9, but you ain't doing sub 7. Sorry.
No, I don't. No, I don't think he's doing sub 7. Absolutely not. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I could see 9.
But
Yeah, not definitely sub 10, possibly 9, absolutely 100% 7. I don't know. Maybe he. I don't know what he was. I don't know what he was thinking, dude.
I mean, look, in a perfect world, everything. Mike Tyson said it best. Everybody has a great idea until they get punched in the mouth, and then once they get punched in the mouth, that idea goes out the window. So we'll see what it'll come to. But while we're talking about the Giants,
no, I was just gonna say. Speaking of Iron Mike, do you have any interest in the him? I know it's been delayed. Do you have any interest in him
Nope.
fighting Jake Paul?
Nope.
No, you don't. You
Nope.
wouldn't pay for that pay-per-view?
Nope. What for?
I don't know. Entertainment.
I'll put
I
it
mean,
like this.
it'll be an expensive paper. It'd probably be like $80 or $90 if I had to guess.
I'll put it to you like this. You got a chance to see Michael Jordan come back. And he was good. He wasn't great when he was with the Wizards, but he was good. He wasn't the MJ we remember, but he was good.
Yeah.
There are athletes that don't need to go back onto the field. They need to, when it's time, it's over. Mike Tyson looks great. He looks amazing. I want to remember Mike Tyson for 2 things. Number 1, biting Evander Holyfield's ear. And number 2,
I remember that fight like it was yesterday.
And number 2, laying out Tommy McNeely. When Tommy McNeely talked all that smack, he thought it was still a movie. He thought he was taking on Stallone as Rocky Balboa, and he came out, and Tyson had just gotten out of jail. And if anybody remembers Mike Tyson, he didn't wear a cape or a robe. He cut a hole in a towel, and he would come out. And most times it was to Method Man's Bring the Pain.
Yep.
And it was a very simple, that short right jab, that short right hook, and he hit Tommy McNeely on the chin. I want to remember him as that. I don't want to see him take on Jake Paul, because I will admit, I'm not taking anything away from Jake Paul, because I will give them credit. Logan Paul has gone to the WWE. I'm a wrestling fan. I think he's doing an outstanding job. And everybody said, oh, it's fake. Okay, well, I tell you what. Let me climb on top of a ladder, and I'm going to hurl my body onto your prone body laying on the ground, and you tell me how fake that is. I give them both credit for the athletes that they are, but I just don't have a desire to see Mike Tyson do that.
No, I mean, I can understand your point. I would probably order that fight. I think the only reason I would is just, if I was, a social event, hanging out with friends. And I do think Logan Paul is a legitimate boxer. I'm not saying he's a pound for pound great or whatever, but I think he actually is. I don't think he's a chump. If that makes any sense, he's actually beaten some legitimate boxers, not just older guys in their prime. I do kind of wonder why Tyson would do this. I mean, I guess the only thing I can think is obviously it'll be a fat paycheck, but I don't think he needs money. I mean, it seems like he's parlayed a lot of, whether it's his acting career, he has his podcast. I think he has some cannabis companies or shops or whatever.
Weed. Stop trying to sugarcoat it. The man sells and smokes weed for
like in states where it's legal, like Colorado, or what? I didn't mean it in a negative way. I mean, the man. It seems like I don't think he's hard up for money. Is basically my point.
I think, in its purest form, I think Mike Tyson realized I am an entertainer now. I think you think he did The Hangover. He did The Hangover, and he realized, hey, wait a minute. I can get a paycheck for being an entertainer and not hurting myself. I'm going to go entertain some people and have some fun with this. I'll get a big paycheck. My podcast ratings will go up, and I'll have some fun. I think Mike Tyson understands he's an entertainer, and I'm not mad at it. It's just, in my
No.
opinion, it's one of those things. I remember when George Foreman came back into the ring, even though he won the belt, it wasn't the George Foreman that I heard stories about, and I didn't want to
Yeah, yeah.
see it. I,
Mm-hmm.
it's just those moments of certain players when you see them. When Shaquille O'Neal went to the Boston Celtics, it was like,
Yeah, I
Shaq.
mean, honestly, like when I think of Shaq, I honestly really just think of basically two teams, the Magic and the Lakers. That's all I
I,
really think about. I know
no,
he played for the Celtics. He was on the Cavs for a little while, and
no, the
where
Heat's on there
was
too.
it?
They won a championship
The
with the Heat
Heat?
too.
Yeah, yeah, the Heat
The
too.
Heat's
Yeah,
on there
yeah,
too.
yeah. So
So,
all
but I
right,
mean,
so three teams. Yeah,
but when he, even when he went to Phoenix, I was like, all right, enough.
yeah,
We get it.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
great. It's time to stop. But I tell you
yeah.
what, I do want to see. I want to see Aaron Boone fired.
I don't think you're the only one. I know I've been
Okay.
calling for that for years, man.
I want to see. Look, if I get it, he got a vote of confidence. And for those of y'all who aren't keeping up, I don't even know you listen to this podcast anymore. The New York Yankees, it has been a struggle bus going into All Star break,
Oh
and
yeah, I mean
Aaron Judge getting
it's
that vote of
comically bad.
Aaron Judge getting that vote of confidence is one of those things that needs to stop. He shouldn't have gotten that vote of confidence 3 years ago, and now you're giving him the vote of confidence again. And I think they're going to come back and realize that it's going to come back and bite them in the butt. They are 2 games behind the Orioles in the AL East, and I think for what this team is, and they need bullpen help. Let's face facts on that. They need
Yeah,
pitching help all around. But
exactly.
I'm watching Boone, and I've had enough of him.
Oh, I am this guy right here. Honestly, I don't even know. Well, I know why Brian Cashman and Hal hired him. It's because he's a yes man, and Hal and Cashman are the ones that are making all the decisions, like a lot of the teams in baseball these days. But I mean, I've had enough of this guy. I mean, there's. I know they're going through a cold slump, obviously. I still think they'll obviously could win the division.
Cold?
There's no reason.
You struggled against the Rays.
Oh,
That's not a
dude, oh.
cold slump. That's hard.
Yeah.
You struggled. Tampa is the get right games. Tampa's the moment when
Yes.
you get down there
Yes.
in the bubble, that dome, whatever they have there.
Yes.
That's when you get right. When you
Tampa
get right.
always plays them hard for some reason. I don't know why, man. I don't know why.
So, and that doesn't help much more that you give Tampa some energy. Now you got to go take the Orioles for 3 before you go to All-Star break, and then you
Well,
come out of All-Star break and you go back to Tampa. You should be
yeah.
on a high right now. So,
Well, they need to take 2 out of the 3 against the Orioles just to get right before they go into the All-Star break.
yeah, and I need to drop 50 pounds, but it's not happening right away. Like, I'm sorry. I get it. I agree. They need to take 2 out of 3. I'm thinking they're going to get swept against Baltimore, or maybe they get 1 going to All-Star break. They'll come back against Tampa. They'll take 2 out of 3 against Tampa. Then you get the Subway Series against the Mets, which the
Yeah.
Mets, and then you go against the Red Sox. Sorry, you got a hard run going.
Yeah, and the Mets have found a little bit of lightning in the bottle too. I mean, they're not. I wouldn't say they're a great team at all, but they're definitely on a hot streak right now. So yeah, I mean, they need to get their ish together big time. And yeah, the Aaron Boone, I'm so tired of him. I think the players are too comfortable with him. I you know. I think he's underqualified for the job. And even I go back to Joe Girardi. I know he had a rough stint in Philadelphia, but after that, believe it was 2017, after it was game 6 I believe it was game 7 where they lost to the Astros, and they ended up getting rid of him. I really don't know why they got rid of Joe Girardi. I think the knock was that he wasn't analytical enough in how the front office was going for him. But if you actually know anything about Joe Girardi, he's one of the more analytical managers out there, but I also like him because I think he combines a little bit of the analytics and the old school baseball, to go to the Braves a little bit. I think Brian Snicker is a little bit where he gets information from AA and the other guys are at, the Saber nerds with the in the back office or the front office, and Snit is that old school baseball guy where he can make that gut feeling, which I still think is a big part of baseball.
Goes and you get Alex.
That wouldn't bother me. I mean, I don't like Alex Cora, but I mean, I can't knock him as a manager, even if he is a cheater.
You don't like Alex Cora because he's with the Sox. Let's face facts on that. But at the same time, and I totally feel like the Yankees, and we grew up in an era, let's be fair.
Oh, we were spoiled.
In an era that we went out and we got whatever we wanted. And it needs to get back to that. Teams need to start fearing us again.
That's the standard. If you're a Yankees, that's a standard. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, just getting to the playoffs and all that's not the standard that the New York Yankees, you get to the playoffs, especially with this team. There's no excuse for them not to win a World Series. I mean, look at the lineup, and I mean, especially the first, 2-3 months of the season. I mean, oh my God, they were incredible. I mean, you got Judge doing, he's on pace to, basically take out his season where he broke the AL home run record. Juan Soto, which has just been unbelievable. But yeah, again, like you said, the pitching has just been a question mark. Did they bring Garrett Cole back too soon after his rehab stint? Because he had one outing where he looked okay, and then he got destroyed, I believe, by the Mets. So yeah, I don't know. This team is it's a lost ship right now, and I'm not sure who's gonna ride it. I think the only thing that I have confidence is some of the, the leaders in the clubhouse, maybe the Sotos, the Judges, and they'll pull it together. But, again, I don't really have confidence in Aaron Boone's leadership.
I look at it like this. Last year, Philadelphia, after All-Star break, Philadelphia went on a tear. And that's what I can hope for right now is that All-Star break's going to be great. I think you're going to have you go to the West Coast for All-Star break. Everybody takes a break, recharges. You got, a lot of injuries that are still there that are going to get a chance to rehab, rest, get some time. When you come back off the road, yes, you have a hard road in front of you. But once you get over about those first 20 days, that's when things I think get better. And at that point in time, if you haven't got, because the thing I don't like is everybody's talking about basically, oh, they're out of playoff contention. Guys, we're at All-Star break. If you're already out of playoff contention at All-Star break, you might as well fire the entire team and do like what was that, Major League with the old Indians. They just go get a bunch of, minor league guys and say, hey, come on up.
Yeah. Hey, Dorn, you're up.
You're not flying anywhere. You're going to take a bus. Yes, you're going to take a bus from New York to Oakland. Congratulations.
God. Jeez.
Right after the game ends on Tuesday, they are going to drive through the night. So good luck with that.
Hey, John, but now that you mentioned bus, have you ever been on a Greyhound before?
No.
No, I have. It was an experience for me. I did it from Nashville to Atlanta once.
Got lost trying to find an airport?
No, I had to. Funny story, I was at Bonnaroo and I had to come home early for a family event, so I ordered a taxi from Nashville to pick me up on the side of the highway where the music Bonnaroo was, which I think that taxi fare was probably $100-something.
The bus
But
ticket
yeah,
probably wasn't $100.
no, the bus ticket I don't even think was $20. I spent more on the freaking taxi cab than I did on the bus.
I've never ridden on a Greyhound before. It's not something that's on my bucket list. I
No,
have
you're
no
not
desire.
missing much.
I have no
You're not.
desire to do it. I would love to take a train on the Pacific Coast and
Oh yeah,
up the
like the
coastline.
Pacific Coast Highway. Oh
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
I hear
yeah.
there's a great train ride,
Absolutely.
a great view. I would love to do that. That's on the bucket list, and
Okay.
obviously a train over in like Switzerland or somewhere, even in Canada. They said there's a great train ride through Canada where you have the upper area. So I'd love to do that, but I have no desire
Okay.
to get on a Greyhound.
Yeah, yeah. It's not on my bucket list.
I'm
Eh.
too much of a control freak because if why would I let somebody drive a bus when I can drive a bus? I can't fly a plane. I can't drive a train.
Nope. That's a true story.
So no, I have no desire to do that. I tell you what I do desire to do. I do want to actually know at this point in time. We saw a chart, and it was teams who have playoff wins since 2010. And basically at the bottom of the list, it was the now Commanders and the New
Yeah.
York Jets. That is a lonely company to be in.
It really is, man. Honestly, yeah, that's I that list is it. I mean, I knew it was bad for the Commanders. I kind of feel a little bad for our buddy Brian Murphy a little bit, but yeah, I mean,
Which, by the way,
goodness,
for anybody, if we have any long-time listeners, we've only done like 4 or 5 episodes. Keith
yeah,
Ippolito's going to drop the name of everybody he knows. He's already done Shalinian Domino. He's done Brian Murphy. He's going to drop the name of If he knows you, just know you'll be mentioned on this podcast at some point in time.
yeah. All right. Should I just make up aliases now?
No, just don't mention the man with the wooden door at our previous establishment. That's the
Oh
only person I
well,
know.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we don't need to do that. I'm with you on that.
Like, I don't need him. I don't. Yeah, no, I'm good from. I don't need him mentioned on here.
No, but yeah, I mean, looking on the list, I mean, geez, man, it's. I mean, you look at the top teams. It's not surprising.
Kansas
Chiefs,
City.
yeah, Pats, 49ers, Green Bay, Seahawks, Ravens, Rams, and the Bucks. So, you look at the Commanders, the Raiders, and the Dolphins. Man, I cannot believe they have. I mean, well, I guess I can believe because they've been terrible or whatever. But yeah, I mean that bottom of the league list. Yeah, you look at Vikings, Lions. So let's look at these teams that have basically the bottom of the barrel. I feel like the Lions are heading in the right direction. No, like
What do all of these teams have in common? They're just getting quarterbacks. That you start from the
yes,
bottom. The Dolphins, they just got Tua. The
yeah,
Raiders are still trying to figure out their quarterback and coach
yes.
situation.
So are the
Washington,
Commanders.
they still
Yep.
haven't had one. The Bears
Bears.
haven't
I
had
don't
a.
think they know what they want to do.
I'm gonna tell you a very interesting stat. The Bears have not had back-to-back winning seasons since 2000. They
Yeah,
ha-
jeez.
they've been struggling with that. The Browns, if you
They
get on social media, there's the joke of people with the jersey where they just write the name of the quarterback on the back of that one. The Arizona Cardinals, the last time they had they got Kyler Murray now, but prior to Kyler Murray, it was Kurt Warner that was quality.
Yeah, but is Kyler Murray really like? I mean, I'm sorry, so I keep going back to that clause in his contract where, the Xbox clause in his contract, like if you or the Call of Duty like if I have to worry about you not paying attention because you're playing video games, are you the man to be the the leader of my team?
But on the flip side of that, Jerry Jones got a personal security guard to follow Des Bryant around. And I get it.
Eh.
It's wide receiver versus quarterback. I get it, but it's a different generation. We grew up in the generation of, we grew up in a different generation of quarterbacks, a different generation of football players. These kids play football now. Even now, I was watching I don't remember whose podcast I saw on YouTube, and NBA player Jeff Teague, he was talking
Okay.
about how when Milwaukee Bucks won the NBA championship, there was nothing for them to do. So he drove from Milwaukee to Indianapolis and started playing his Xbox. Like that's what
Yeah,
these
yeah.
kids do. So
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
part of it. So it's a part of the deal that goes with it. Um, you go back to okay, you go
The
back
Lions,
the Lions.
they got a quarterback.
They've had a quarterback. They just didn't have a line, and they didn't have the coach to do it because they had Matthew
Yes, yeah.
Stafford and Megatron.
They had a quarterback previously, like you just said. They didn't have all the other surrounding parts.
They had, to me, in my opinion, the coach was their biggest problem. And the defense.
Well, yeah, yeah.
I think offensively they had everything they needed. Defensively they didn't have it. The
Yeah.
Vikings, Dante Culpepper.
Pepper? Yeah. Dante Culpepper. I mean,
You had Brett
honestly,
Favre.
I have some friends who are diehard Viking fans, and they loved Kirk Cousins. I mean, Kirk Cousins is not Dante Culpepper, obviously, but I mean, at least the Viking fans I talked to, they liked Kirk Cousins.
I don't I don't see anything wrong with I think Kirk Cousins is, for lack of a better term, the poor man's Kurt Warner. I think he's the
Yeah,
quarterback that can lead the team. I
yeah,
think
yeah.
he's been in some bad situations. I don't think there's games that he's cost you games, but I don't think he can take over a game either.
No, yeah, I agree with that. I mean, he's definitely had, what was the game? You like me now. I can't remember who they won in that game. No, I agree with you on that. That he is. I don't think he's gonna lose you a game, but I don't know if he's the guy who's gonna set you over the edge. Put it this way, All right, so he's on the Falcons now. If they had all the pieces or whatever, he's not losing them a game if they were a legitimate playoffs or Super Bowl team or whatever. Like I think if you could put Kirk Cousins on, I don't know. Do you think if you put Kirk Cousins on the Chiefs, they still win a Super Bowl?
No,
No,
no.
you don't think so?
Here's the difference, and I'm going to pinpoint to something that every Giants fan can remember. Think back to those Troy Aikman. I'll even go Tony Romo.
Yeah.
Think back to those Romo Giants games on Monday night. Giants would be up. Romo to who's the tight end that they had? I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Oh,
Uh
Witten.
yes. Witten up and out. Witten up and out.
Yep.
Witten up and
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Romo would create, and that's how they won the game. I don't think Kirk Cousins can do that. If you look at what Pat Mahomes does, and that's the part now. If you want to give the indictment on Kyler Murray for something, that's something that you can give an indictment on him for. Is the fact that Kyler Murray's athletic, and I think he can do what Patrick Mahomes does. He just doesn't. Patrick Mahomes,
Yeah.
that ability to create, and the NFL, excuse me, the NFL is set up for the quarterback now, where Patrick Mahomes runs, draws the defensive player in enough, steps out of bounds, gets everything it was what everybody was crediting Russell Wilson for. And now he just does it better. And I don't think Kirk Cousins can do any of that. He's not that athletic.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, of course not. I was just, and I don't necessarily believe this either. I was just curious, if you threw, because I mean, the Chiefs do have a lot of talent, obviously outside of just Mahomes. I mean, obviously he's a central or the main part of that team, but I mean, they have a good defense. They have a phenomenal tight end. Obviously, they have pretty solid receivers or whatever. But yeah, I guess, yeah, I get, that's probably the wrong team. I guess if you take you take Mahomes out of that, he's that X factor, obviously.
Let me
All
tell you
right,
a
so
team on this.
I'll change it up. What about if you take if you put Kirk Cousins on the Patriots teams that won all the dynasties, and you replace Tom Brady with Kirk Cousins?
I think
Yes
you're
or
giving
no?
Kirk Cousins way too much credit.
I'm just trying to have some fun here.
Well, here, let me give you something fun.
All
As we were
right.
talking about the New York Yankees, let me tell you one name on this list that's intriguing. Most playoff wins since 2010, Dallas Cowboys with 3, ranking in the same place as as the Tennessee Titans, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Carolina Panthers. Now,
So that well, yeah, I mean the Cowboys. I mean they've been notorious, with Romo. Obviously the famous Mexico trip. We all know how that turned out.
who was the
So that was Romo. That would have been Romo. Dez would have been there.
Yep.
That was obviously Jason Garrett as the head coach.
But I guess I liken that to how the mighty have fallen. Because
Oh
that was
yeah,
a team, if you think about when we grew up, and once again, got no love for the Dallas Cowboys. Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin with all of his issues, that defense with all of their issues, to only have 3 wins in 14 years.
Oh, I know,
Mm.
man. Yeah, it's but I mean, as you and I both know, I think a lot of that is just attributed to Jerry. He's made a lot. Obviously, him and his son are more than likely the ones that are, making those draft choices. I remember even there was a lot of questions about when he selected Zeke Elliott at that time. I believe they had other issues at the team. Not that Zeke wasn't a fantastic running back in the prime of his career, but I think Jerry is just his own worst enemy, and he needs to step aside. But obviously, he's not that type of person. He's got too big of an ego for that.
Let me throw something. Let me throw a name out at you. If
Okay.
this is a make or break year for
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Jones,
Mm-hmm.
let's just say this year you end it.
Okay.
Dak Prescott, 31
So
years old.
replace Daniel Jones with Dak.
31 years old. Dak
Okay.
Prescott, because I think a lot of has been put on Dak Prescott that didn't need to be put on Dak Prescott. Because
Yeah.
that team, the coach, now you bring him to New York, stability.
Mm-hmm.
He can be marketed.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
He doesn't have to answer to the owner. He can talk to a
Yes.
GM. So, because I think there's something about when you have to talk to the owner who's also your GM versus when you're
Mm-hmm.
talking to a GM. It's I know it sounds
It's
silly.
no, but I know where you're going with this, and I think you're 100% right because when you're talking with your GM or to equate it to people with 9 to 5 job, there's a difference when you're talking to your manager versus like the big boss.
Both have something to lose. You both can lose
Yes.
your job. Jerry Jones
Yes.
can't be fired. He's not
Yeah.
going to be fired.
No,
But
he's
when you bring him to a team that has a GM, and now you bring him now I'm not upset about that. I'm not upset. You bring Dak Prescott in 3 years, a Russell Wilson type contract for 3
Yeah.
years, and that gives you the opportunity to, after that second year, draft who you want, a quarterback that sits behind him, and get
Yeah.
that young team together. But you're giving Dak Prescott this wide receiver core, this line, and now you get to go find him a running back.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would not be opposed to that at all. I guess I feel I don't know. I guess I would put Dak in like that same category as quarterbacks as like Kirk Cousins. I think Dak is a very talented quarterback, and I think he has definitely has the capability to make those game-winning plays when the game is on the line. But I also don't think I think if you put him in the right environment, he won't make the plays that are going to cost you the game. So no, I wouldn't. I would be okay with that. I mean, so at this point in Dak Prescott's career, we know what he is. 5 years into the Daniel Jones experience, I don't think me and you or any Giant fan can definitively say what is Daniel Jones. He's had flashes in the pan where he's been incredible, and then he's had moments where he's been absolutely horrendous.
No, I could vehemently disagree with you. I can tell you exactly
Okay.
what Daniel Jones is. He's a solid second string quarterback. You know who Daniel Jones is? Daniel Jones is Matt Schaub.
Oh God.
Who went out to the Houston Texans, who did a okay job, and then he was a backup. That's who Daniel Jones is. Daniel Jones is not a starting quarterback in the NFL. So the fact that that's even in the conversation, the flash in the pants, okay, you want to talk about flash in the pants? David Carr had a flash in the pants, and he was,
Yes.
I considered him better. I mean, we look at all the quarterbacks we went through last year.
What about
we went through
another
Danny
Duke
DeVito.
quarterback
Hold on,
for?
hold on, bear with me.
Yeah.
We went through Danny DeVito, who he had a flash in the pants. You're telling me now we make him a starting quarterback? I think we're taking the starting quarterback role and we're not elevating it to where it used to be, because I think there's such a discrepancy of when you have Patrick Mahomes, Kelly,
It's been
and there's
yeah.
such a discrepancy down below that look at the fact that you keep comparing Kirk Cousins. Just because the Falcons overpaid for Kirk Cousins doesn't mean everybody should. Everybody should not be paying for Kirk Cousins.
Look, man, I agree with you. I agree with you on that. But the quarterback market is just so it's so insane right now. I don't know. I don't know what the league is or the players union and the league can do to try and again, I'm never going to knock any player for trying to get their money. They deserve that money, but I mean, they either need to raise the cap significantly more, which I can't see the owners probably going for, but I mean, when you have say 40-50 million dollars for one position on your team, I mean, that's just insane. I don't know how that is sustainable. Do you?
Step one, you stop paying guys like Daniel Jones like they are. Okay, let's go through. I pulled up Pro Football Focus's this year's rankings of quarterbacks. Okay. Let's start from the top. Patrick Mahomes, tier 1.
Yeah.
Very true.
Joe Burrow 2 or Lamar?
Bear with me. Tier 2. This is elite. Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. Tier 3. Postseason caliber quarterbacks. Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott, Matthew Stafford might not need to be there. Aaron Rodgers, TBD. Jalen Hurts should be there. CJ Stroud, TBD.
I think, yeah.
Tier 4. The melting pot of starters. Jordan Love, got it. Trevor Lawrence, true. Brock Purdy, I might even move him up just a little bit. Tua Tagovailoa, Kirk Cousins at 15. Now, here's the problem that I have. After Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, he's earned his spot. I'll give him credit on that. Kyler Murray,
I think he's TBD.
I think he's injured. That injury, that torn ACL did him in.
Yeah.
Geno Smith, journeyman.
I think Geno's a journeyman and a backup. I mean,
I agree. And that's Baker Mayfield. I think he's earned his spot.
I think he has. Yeah. I think what he did with the Bucks was cool, but I don't think he's anything more than that. I think journeyman category for me.
I think Baker Mayfield's attitude is what hurt him. His ego hurt him. Derek Carr, backup quarterback. Russell Wilson.
At this absolute backup.
Russell Wilson.
Or starter.
Russell Wilson, I'm surprised you're still in the NFL.
Yes.
Deshaun Watson, I think he should be higher because I don't like the fact that his off the field antics are why people think of him next.
It's not. I don't think it's a talent issue. I mean, I
I think
know
it's his
last season. What's that?
I think it's injuries and off the field antics. I mean, you got to keep in
Yeah,
mind. Remember what this guy did in Houston.
Oh yeah. No, Houston, he had a great college career. I mean, the talent's there. It's just he has a lot of, whether you said off the field issues and things going on. So maybe it's in injuries, you said as well. But maybe I think a lot of it, even more than the injuries, is probably mental, in my opinion.
Just think that there has to become a line of demarcation of I can't pay a quarterback. I can't. This is going to sound so bad. We'll probably get canceled for it, but I'm going to say this. I can't take the girl who's a 2 out on the town like she's a 10. And I think there's so many 2s that we're treating like 10s, and we got to start treating people where they belong.
John, what if they go, to the cosmetologist or whatever, they get little Botox, a little bit of this or whatever. What if that 10 pumps up to a 5 or a 6? Come on.
See, that's your problem. That's why you were riding the Greyhound back, because you was up in Nashville with that girl who you trying to get to hop to and spit on that thing.
Oh Jesus! Here we go. Now we're really gonna get canceled. Hey, have you seen? Did you see a Hawk Tour girl on not the podcast? Because I didn't watch it. I just saw the clip. She was on the Call Her Daddy podcast recently.
No, just we're in a society like. What are we doing in society nowadays? We're in a society now where a girl makes a stupid comment, and now you're ready to give her a reality TV show.
Oh yeah, hey, I mean that's 2024, man. I mean, it's bizarre, but it is what it is.
Tune into this podcast long enough, and trust me, you'll be giving Keith Ippolito his own reality TV show because he will say something stupid eventually.
I mean that's a given. I mean that's a matter of time. I'm surprised I mean I'm sure it has happened already. I mean it's just a given. We know each other long enough. I say stupid stuff all the time.
I mean you keep chugging Trulia the way you chug. This is like your 5th one by now. What is wrong with you, man?
It's the same can. Come on.
It looked like It looked like the first one was like cinnamon or apple or something, and now that one looks like it's cherry.
All right. Well, you caught. This is my other can was a White Claw. Hey, White Claw, do you want to sponsor us too?
We are a basic white woman.
Oh, come on, John. So what's your drink of choice?
I'm high on life, good sir. don't have a beverage of choice. Okay?
You don't have a beverage of choice. Come on.
Beverage of choice. But I mean.
But come on, you're hanging out at the end of the night, or it's a Friday, Saturday night. Are you smoking a cigar and you having a bourbon or a scotch, or what is John having?
A ginger ale.
Come on.
Here's what I'm gonna tell you. All right, I'm gonna let you in on a secret about me. It was always so much fun to watch people, and I know I'm not the only person who's done this. I heard 50 Cent says he does the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I will get a scotch on the rocks and just hold it in my hand. Just keep it in my hand. Never drink it, because I'm watching everybody else around the room and watching.
And honestly,
they tell that
means you're the smartest man in the room. And say him. I can't remember another. Poker player, actually, drawn a blank on his name, but he would just put club soda in his drink, so people would think he was drinking like vodka soda or whatever. So yeah, honestly, you and 50 got it right, man.
50 Cent said he would go to the club, and they'd get the VIP, and he'd get a bottle of champagne, and he'd pour some for everybody. Then he'd get somebody to fill it with ginger ale. So it looks like he has champagne back in there. It's just really ginger ale. And he's sitting drinking ginger ale, and he's watching everybody. And I learned that a long time ago because I'd always run into the person that's like, hey, I want to fight the big guy in the room, or I want to try, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I need
probably not a good idea.
I need to be well aware of what's going on. So, but to the fine folks at Trulia or White Claw, I don't know exactly what our what is White Claw's target demo. I've heard there's a specific target demo for them. Was that
White Claw? I mean, I wouldn't throw myself in that category. I drink it just because, and this is gonna sound so very bougie or for me. It's just because beer bloats me up, man. Long day, hot day at work. Say if you're out moving furniture or doing something or whatever. I like a good ice cold Miller Lite or something like that. I don't know. It's enjoying.
Good old Google. I googled what's the target demographic for White Claw. White Claw
Women.
is the world's best-selling hard seltzer brand and has a broad target demographic that includes young people. White Claw is especially popular with millennials and Gen Z, and some say it's largely women. Health-conscious people. White Claw is a low-calorie alternative to beer that appeals to the people who want a balanced and simple and healthy lifestyle. Men and women. White Claw's gender-neutral marketing strategy aims to appeal to everyone. Some say that even the broest of men enjoy a White Claw.
Oh, the broest of men. Wow.
BROIEST. The broest.
I haven't heard that term, but I guess I don't know. I don't consider myself broy. I don't know. Do you?
Broest.
I guess
broest.
So. The broiest, man. Come on.
And by the way, White Claw, that was a free live read. Pick you up White Claw wherever you pick up your beverages.
Seriously.
Kroger, Publix, or your local adult package store. Drink responsibly.
Yeah.
Don't drink and drive. If you're pregnant, don't drink either. Make sure you're over the age of 21.
And I'm only walking down a flight of stairs, so I'm
all
good.
You make it down that flight of stairs.
Amen. From your lips to God's ears.
Yeah. We hope you make it down that flight of stairs. I've heard stories of people who didn't make it. So,
true story.
So if you're going to the store to get you some White Claw or True, what's the name of it? Truly, we're gonna give them
True. Oh, so this is actually I grabbed this from my youngest brother since he's in town for the summer. This is Truly Unruly. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's like the you remember Surge from back in our youth?
Yes.
Yeah. I wonder, the way it's Truly Unruly, it kind of reminds me of, like, Surge a little bit, or at least the logo does. I don't know if it's, well, let's see, it says, no, that contains 4% juice. Let's see, 8% alcohol volume. So I would say that's pretty strong for a beer or a seltzer, because, like, a Miller Lite or whatever, I think that's, like, 5%, 4 something, give or take.
Gonna give me for unruly, so we're gonna just see Truly there. Okay, here we go.
Yeah. Does is Mrs. Radcliffe a drinker at all, John, or
no?
Does she pop open a bottle of wine after a long day of work, or no?
No. Okay, here we go. Truly's hard seltzer target demographic includes variety groups, including women, diverse populations, and millennials. Women Truly has considered 50+ women to be their most valuable customer. Diverse populations truly target Latinos and African Americans. Millennials seem to like it. This is a horrible... Dear Trulia, if you'd like a live endorsement, you can reach me at johnrad450@gmail.com.
Yeah.
So,
come on.
Target demo, 21 to 34-year-old middle-class consumers.
All right.
So there you go. So
hey,
if either one of you find establishments would like to sponsor the Shared Stadium podcast, just reach out to us.
Hey, come on. Wait, hey, we'll take whatever. Come on. Truly,
Well,
White Claw, High Noon.
hey, hold on
Come
now.
on.
Hold on. We
What?
gotta have some level of standards now. I mean, I know
Okay.
radio stations that are looking to try and get some sponsorship and endorsement, and they'll take whatever they can get because they are the flagship of a major baseball association in a top 10 market, and they need some people to come in and help them make revenue. But if I may say,
But
we are not going to just go out there and be like your common streetwalker in the night, taking whatever businesses are available. We are a highbrow of individual here on this Shared Stadium
we're
podcast.
that's yes. I short sold us a little bit. We are sophisticated gentlemen, right, John?
We
Or
are
maybe you
distinct.
are. I don't know about me.
Whatever you choose to identify as, that's your,
Exactly.
whatever.
Exactly.
So, as we get, all right, we're gonna wrap this up before we get in trouble. As we wrap this, we thank you guys for tuning into the Shared Stadium podcast. Like, subscribe, and follow. I'm gonna tell you right now. Okay, let's do some housekeeping. Right now, just turn the alert on because there's no football, so we might not talk to you every week. But when we
Yeah.
get closer to football season,
Absolutely.
then it'll be every week because there's not a whole lot to talk about.
Every week during football season. And this will probably be a conversation, but offline. So if maybe we'll do a Sunday or a Monday night or something after the game or whatever, if it fits our schedule or something.
Yes, we will do something like that. So don't think that, oh, these two jackwagons are just being lazy. It's not. Look, you got two options.
No.
Either we can do this every single week, and you can watch Keith Ippolito drink whatever hard seltzer or
Yeah.
whatever he steals out of his mom's closet and refrigerator to drink. So next week it could just be a simple bottle of red wine. Who knows?
Hey, it might be box wine for all I know. Maybe a box of Franzia. John, come on, you're not in. You're not in on the box wine.
That being said, I'm not judging for those who drink box wine. In my younger days, I would take down a box a night, but as I've gotten older,
Oh, a box of man. What was the hangover like on that bad boy?
didn't have one. Drink a lot of water. I was,
All
didn't
right,
get one.
okay,
Didn't get one.
okay, all right,
You
all right.
know your mom and dad would be disappointed in you here. You're drinking boxed wine.
Yeah, that might not. I might have to give up a vowel in my last name or something and hand in that card.
I mean, boxed. You're from the land of good wine. I mean, for crying out loud. And you're drinking boxed wine.
Oh, come on! I don't drink box wine, John. Come on,
I know you drink boxes of wine. Plural.
boxes. True story.
Pluralized. But until next time, so yeah, put the alert button on. You'll join us each week. If you want to endorse us, if you like it sponsored, I promise you, we are professionals. Pause. I am a professional.
True story.
Um,
I'm just along for the ride.
No, we are professional. We like to have fun. We'll talk everything New York Giants. We will divert to Yankees and everything else. Also, this is just a quick public service announcement. In the times that we're living in right now, it is great that our country needs to come together. And as the Olympics prepare, go support Team USA in all sports. Just go support. Basketball, baseball, lacrosse, rugby, whatever it may be, support Team USA. Let's come together as a country. There's a lot going on right now that can divide us, but let's come together. Let's support our nation, soccer, everything that's out there, and let's just have a little fun.
I'm glad you said that, man, and I want to echo that. I know, with the Olympics coming up, absolutely. Super excited to, support the country. I think that should not be a divisive issue at all. And like you said, with all the crazy things happening on in the world, and, was one thing, it was cool for 30 seconds going to the Team USA game, Copa America. I know they lost or whatever, but it was nice to
Still
be
your
in
fault.
a stadium. Yeah, be still my fault, yes. But it was nice to be in a stadium where, everyone was rallying around the team and the country and all that sort of stuff. So I think the world could use a little bit more of that and understanding where a little more understanding or just listening, and hear different other people's points of view on the world, and maybe try and put your feet in their shoes and walk a mile in their shoes and hear their side of the story. And I wish more people would do that. But I guess I get a little serious there for a second. I'm glad you brought that up because I definitely think the world could use a little bit of that.
And it's not getting serious. It's just one of those things that it's okay to be divided over sports. But it's okay to argue over sports. Here's the one thing we will promise you on this podcast. We're never going to bring politics into it. We're never going to hear about it. We're never going to bring religious beliefs into this podcast. What we're going to bring to you is some silliness, some fun. We're going to talk about sports. I will bring religion. I pray that we never have to bring a serious topic to this. But I felt like as this time where we have the Olympics, go support Team USA. USA. Or whatever country you want to support. If you're from... wherever, support whatever country you want to support, but just enjoy the games. Enjoy a healthy outlet to just get away from all the craziness that's going on right now. And if you want to give us commentary, not negative commentary, you can reach out to me. I'm at JohnRad450 on Twitter. You are at...
I am Keith Ip86 on Twitter, and I am KSIp86 on Instagram. Feel free to shoot me a message, and man.
And at the bare minimum, if you don't like us, tough. We got microphones and cameras, so we get to do this each and every week. So until next time, we'll talk to you later. Try not to hurt yourself.